Hello, welcome to the update. I'm Susie Thompson. Fears for a horror bushfire season are already being realised with 2 emergencies in the New South Wales Hunter region overnight. The fires at Abermain and Cameron Park have now been downgraded to advice level, but Ben Shepherd from the Rural Fire Service says there are concerns properties have been lost in Abermain.
At least one tyre shop has been lost, and there is the possibility of some sheds or homes, but that work will be completed today. So, because initial thoughts of homes yesterday ended up being sheds. So, look, that work will be continued today. Our concentration, though, overnight was to establish some control lines around the fire and implement a number of backburns, which they have been able to successfully do.
The nation's energy regulator is calling for billions of dollars in extra spending on renewables to shore up the electricity grid. AEMO says latest modelling predicts all of the nation's ageing coal power stations could be shut down within 15 years. It says renewable energy production needs to be tripled by 2030 to fill the massive hole in the grid. Surf lifesavers are issuing a fresh warning to stay safe in the waters as Australia's hot conditions drive large numbers of people to the coast. Surf Lifesaving Chief Executive Stephen Pearce says beachgoers should stick to patrolled locations and those going to unpatrolled areas need to have a plan in place.
Please ring 000 in the first instance, and that just will enable us to respond all the other emergency services and our lifeguards and lifesavers nearby to that location. If you do make a decision to go in and try and help that person that's struggling, it is so important that you take a flotation device.
Queensland is ringing in a new leader after almost a decade of Anastasia Palaszczuk at the helm of the state. Stephen Miles will be sworn in today as the state's 40th Premier. He's expected to announce a number of goals on his first day in the new role, including more ambitious emissions reductions targets. Far North Queensland is on flood watch this morning as ex-tropical cyclone Jasper makes its way across the region. Major flood warnings are in place for the Daintree and Mossman rivers north of Port Douglas. Rainfall totals of up to 540 millimetres have been recorded in just 12 hours, forcing many residents to be evacuated. Sport and entertainment are next. In sport, Davy Warner has silenced the critics and all but guaranteed his test farewell at the SCG next month. He's guided the hosts to a dominant 5 for 346 at stumps on day 1 after posting a monster century against Pakistan in Perth.
Well, this man, he writes his own scripts. If you knock him, he'll punch right back. Davy Warner at his belligerent best. Another Test match 100 to savour in his farewell Test series.
That call on Fox Sports. Eddie Jones says he doesn't feel any guilt at all about becoming Japan's head coach just 6 weeks after he walked out on the Wallabies. He's apologised to Australian fans but insists his first interview for the job was just last week. In entertainment news, Australian entertainer Barry Humphries will be farewelled at a state memorial at the Sydney Opera House later this morning. The Many Lives of the Australian will be on show at the service, co-hosted by the state and federal governments. Humphries died in Sydney in April at the age of 89. More accolades for Barbara Streisand. The singer-actress is to receive the Life Achievement Award from the Screen Actors Guild. It will be presented in February. In a career spanning decades, Streisand has won 2 Academy Awards, 10 Grammys, 5 Emmy Awards and a Tony, and she's also directed 3 Oscar-nominated movies. And Hugh Grant says he's too old, fat and ugly to do another romantic comedy. The 63-year-old says he's on the hunt for more interesting roles. Grant is currently starring as an Oompa Loompa in Wonka. And that is the latest from the Nova podcast team. We'll see you later on for another update. I'm Susie Thompson.